Hello and welcome to Maths Moments Mondays, bite-sized maths PD by teachers and for teachers. Every week we get a new teacher to come in and show us something awesome that they're doing. So we're up to episode 6, and this week we're joined by the incredible Jules Bowness. Now, Jules is going to talk about something that every maths teacher can relate to, students getting to the end of term exam and having forgotten the stuff that they learned in week 2, week 3. We're looking at interleaving. Now, Jules is doing this with every single one of her classes now, and she's finding great success with it. So take it away, Jules. Let us know all about it.
Okay, so I was noticing a real issue with my 11 method students. When they came in, they were predominantly students that had never had to do a huge amount of revision for maths and still been really successful. Probably most of them would have also been the boys that were doing specialists as well. So I wanted to target something for those boys to start them revising earlier, because they initially thought that revising was just reading their notes the night before an exam. So I started looking at starting their revision sooner with a process called interleaving. I didn't know that was the name of it at the time. I researched it afterwards because I thought I came up with this amazing idea all by myself. What it was is targeted homework each week on top of their normal class load. So in their OneNote, because I'm a 100% BYOD school, in class OneNote, I set up a tab called Homework within the content library, and I also had the same section header in the students' own individual areas. So what I did is I was really open and honest with the students and said to them why I'm doing it, so that they would be revising throughout the term. So went back to the forgetting curve. If they do it topic 1, they're not going to remember it for the exam coming later. So it is, instead of revising block by block, it's a mixture of topics in one task. It also tied in with something that my head of secondary was showing as a revision technique, which is the Pomodoro technique. Basically, it's just homework split up into 25-minute chunks. So I tried to tailor mine to around the same, just so that we keep the message consistent. So what I did is I would give them a whole week to work on this, so that when they did come up with problems, and they would come up with problems, they would be able to come and find me in between. I also said to the students that it wasn't an excuse if they got stuck to leave it there and just go, oh, too hard basket. I initially didn't have the time on it, and I'll come back to that in a sec. So I just went through current content that we were working on and something that would be for revision purposes. I then added the time in afterwards, because I realized that some of the boys were running out of time for their exams. So they were either underestimating or overestimating how long a question would take them, and some were running out. So I kind of just went with roughly how many marks it was and added a bit on at the end. And I said to the boys, it's not after 18 minutes that you stop working, it's that you change colour of pen, and that we talk about how we can speed you up. Because if it's a 1.5 mark question, I don't want a thesis on it. I also said that it is a revision technique, so they need to go back and look at their summary books. So then on the following week, I would check that they'd all done it. So the way I distributed this one, so like I said, I'm 100% BYOD, class notebook. Okay, so class notebook. When I set up the things, I gave them all the same section headings. If I hadn't, I could just go distribute new section and then call it homework, and it would appear in each one of their own little sections. Okay, and then I just distribute a page into their homework. Okay, so it's like giving out an electronic worksheet. I can't make changes to it because I wouldn't with a worksheet anyway. Okay, and then I could just distribute that one. Okay, and that just tells me where I want it to go. At the end of the week, I'd go review student work. I wouldn't be marking this work because it doesn't help them understand the mark scheme. So I'd go review student work. As long as they don't change the title on the page, this works. If they do, it's problematic. So homework. It takes a sec for it to retrieve all the pages, but then you see set on the Wednesday, the 8th of Feb. So that's that one there. And I just click on the plus arrow, plus sign at the side, and that brings down every student's name. Obviously, I can't do that. And I can just click in, so alphabetical by last name. So Fred, George, Harry, you get the idea. And I can click in and see if it has been completed, not marking it like I said, because I want them to look at exam technique. So after that lesson, I wouldn't distribute it before because they'll just copy the answers because, you know, I went in and I put full worked solutions and I tried to give them ideas where things came from, but also where the mark scheme came into it. Okay, so that line there was not worth a mark, but you might choose to write it. It's not going to hurt you. And then this one was worth half mark, that one half mark, that one half mark. Okay, and when it comes to seniors, this was we did term unit 3 at the end of term 2, so I didn't actually post the answers for that. It's not great. But what I could do is I could go into Joel's exam database and I could give them some exam questions that were actually from real papers. I could give it as a multiple choice, or when I snip tool and paste it in there, is I don't have to put the ABCDs on there and just make it a short response question. Just so then we can talk a bit more about guess and check which one it could be versus what it would look like, obviously worth more marks as a short response. I found it's really been significantly helpful at starting revision earlier. And I can also tailor it too. If this kind of question has been problematic in class exercises, I can change the numbers and I can chuck it in next week and they can look back and see how they're traveling with it. Hope that's been helpful for you. Thanks, guys.